Oh, we're live already. Wow.
Yep. Welcome back, you guys. It is Thursday night, and it is Jive Turkey along with my co-host, Let's Be Frank, and we are here talking about NFL rematches. That is the story for this week. Let's Be Frank. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk about talking about our picks from last week, see how we ended up doing. Did you guys beat us in predictions, or did we do better than you guys? Let us know in the comments down below. And also, I'm looking forward to giving our F for this week. There was a lot of competition for the F this week. They're really competing for that, and we have a clear winner. We'll discuss the Jive Turkey F here in a little bit after our recap from last week.
So let's go ahead and talk about the recap, Frank. So we're going to cover the AFC first, and we're going to talk about my lovely Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
All right. Jacksonville, Kansas City. Was that last week?
That was.
It was. It was. Yeah. For some reason, I didn't think that was last week.
It's been a long week, all right?
It's been a long week. It's been a long week for sure. This game, I think we talked. I think I said it was going to be a double-digit win. It ended up only being a 7-point win for Kansas City, but it really looked like Lawrence or Trevor Lawrence was struggling last week in that game. Maybe the stage was a little too big for him this time around. Maybe he didn't look comfortable out there. The offense never got into rhythm. And the defense, defense did what the defense was supposed to do, but man, you can only keep Mahomes from the end zone for so long, and you need some offensive support to help you. And I don't know what was going on with the Jaguars last week with their offense, and I know a lot of people were looking for that comeback toward the fourth quarter to see some magic happen, and it just kind of never materialized last week. And I go back. I just think maybe the stage was too big for Trevor Lawrence this last week. Maybe he was putting a lot of pressure on himself to come out there with a W. I don't know. What do you think?
So, as everyone knows, I'm an avid Jaguars fan. I'm going to keep saying that, so everyone knows that. First quarter we responded real well, tied up. Patrick Mahomes went out beginning towards the end of the first quarter, going into second quarter. But when you let a backup quarterback march 98 yards, you're not giving yourself any players and doing yourself any favors. But then secondly, the play calling changed a lot. I felt like when Patrick Mahomes came off, and we had our ample opportunities. We had a great kickback over the 50 yards. Trevor Lawrence going in third quarter did well. We had a crucial drop from Christian Kirk. Hit him on that post and was 10 yards from the goal line and just fell through the breadbasket. I don't know what happened. A lot of costly drops. I think it came down to experience. Like you and I have talked about a lot.
Yeah.
The coaching was there, but I think the experience wasn't there. I think if Calvin Ridley would have been in that wide receiver group, I think he might have been able to pull them along just a little bit to kind of get them controlled a little bit more down to kind of bring them back down to kind of be focused, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm going to draw a comparison real quick, and we'll talk a little bit about this when we get to that game. But Purdy from the 49ers, being his only seventh start in a playoff and being inside a big game and being able to manage that game to where they secured a victory. I think maybe the mentality is a little different with Purdy just because he wasn't even supposed to be in that position. So what does he have to lose, right? He has money. Yeah, he has that confidence, I think, to be able to go out there and not worry about, second guessing himself because he wasn't even supposed to be the starting quarterback, let alone in the playoffs.
You're right. So that's definitely a great analogy in the way how you kind of put that together. So if we draw back to Trevor Lawrence, going into being 2-6, and then we just somehow we rode the ship and it came straight. So I think come next year, I think we'll be fine, and I think exactly what they wouldn't have believed you. No, you're 100% right. I definitely agree with you. Might be wrong. 100%. as long as Let's Be Frank is knowing me, since I've been riding with this team, and I can sit there and tell you, there's a lot of promise in this team. I think if we bring back Evan Ingram, I think we have a solidified tight end position, and then just kind of go from there. But I think Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, if he is healthier than what he was towards the end of the Jacksonville game, it's going to be a close game going into the next one. What's your thoughts on Kansas City? You think they did all right, or do you think they could have played better?
They played enough to get by last week. That's what they did. They played what they needed to do. Andy Reid knew what he needed to get from his offense and what he needed to get from the team, and that's what he got. And I told you there had to be zero mistakes last week with Jacksonville going into that game to even be close. Zero mistakes, and being able to establish a couple drives, and again that big drop from your receiver, I think was costly. That would have been a momentum changer for that game, I believe. If he hauls that catch in, scores that touchdown, that's a momentum changer, and we might be talking about a different outcome because of that.
No, you're definitely right. So the two main plays I believe would have changed the trajectory would have been the main drop from Christian Kirk, and then secondly, about 4 minutes left in the game, Agnon's about 10 yards from the goal line and fumbles the ball right there, and he just got ahead of himself and he fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
You're talking exactly what you just said. Now we're talking about a whole entire different game.
Yep.
But I think overall, here's the great thing I don't think a lot of people understand. We only let Kansas City score 27 points twice.
Yep.
Twice. The first time we played them and when we played them this past time. So it means we had the blueprint to beat them. We just got to stop beating ourselves.
Yep.
Stop beating ourselves. So let's go to your game. Your game and your favorite game that busted your bracket.
Yes. Bills Mafia, what happened? I had so much faith in you guys. I was out here shilling for you. I said, Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. Bills Mafia is going to go crazy this weekend because it's at home. The Bengals are walking into the Lions Den. And what did you guys show up? You guys were kittens. You guys were a bunch of kittens in there. You weren't no Lions. Man, I was so upset with you guys this last week. And I'm not even a Bills fan, but how do you lose that? You have your dude up in the press box. He shows up. He's
DeMar
there
Hamlin.
DeMar Hamlin. He's there to support the team. And then what? You got home field advantage. It's snowing. You got the crowd on your side. And what do we end up with? We had drama at the very end where Stephon Diggs was cursing out or saying some words to the quarterback. I can't think of his name at the moment. It's escaping
Joe
me.
Burrow?
Nope. His quarterback.
Oh.
Stephon Diggs' quarterback.
Allen.
Allen, yes. Josh Allen. Having words with him on the sideline, just a little diva moment there. And I was like, man, that kind of speaks to it. And it was interesting because we talked earlier this season, and you had mentioned what happens if they don't win the Super Bowl. What happens after they're bounced from the playoffs? Do we see a rebuilding of this team? Because they are going to have some issues down the road here. And I was thinking about that when you said that, and I was thinking, I said, yep. I said, they're going to have to do something with this team now because this is the third year in a row and did not result in a Super Bowl appearance. There's going to have to be retooling. They didn't even get to the spot they made it to last year. So they regressed in that sense of where they were supposed to be. And it's looking more and more like Cincinnati is establishing themselves as a power in the AFC. Man, I was so disappointed. That game got out of hand so quickly from the Buffalo Bills that it, man, I was like, what's going on?
See?
Yeah. Might be wrong. Says they got robbed last year and this year they just lost. Yeah.
Perfectly said. I can concur with you on that because like we talked about last week about the Bills and I kind of put that out there. I was like, well, I don't know, Joe Burrow's pretty, like I've said, and everyone's kind of heard me talk about Joe Burrow. I've been high on Joe Burrow. Everybody thought that they shouldn't be the favorite, but everyone tends to forget that the Cincinnati Bengals won the AFC last year,
Yep.
And everybody thought, oh, no, it goes through Arrowhead. Yes, it might have to go through Arrowhead, but they're not the AFC champs right now.
No.
The Bengals are.
Yeah.
And the fact is that Joe Burrow has beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times and once in the playoffs. So, as my history buff over here, history is not on his side.
No, nor Andy Reid's side in this situation here with these 3 losses to Zach Taylor's team.
Yes.
So man, I discounted the Bengals, and I did not view them as the AFC champions from last year, and I really did discount them. And I think that's how they're playing. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder right now because people have overlooked them. People were high on the Bills, people were high on the Chiefs, and they were like, Bengals who? And I'm sure that's a rally call within that organization, within that locker room right now, where they're using that to fuel them, to prove, the media or to prove the fans or the league wrong that they do belong where they are, because they are to be reckoned with.
I agree. I'm gonna post this real quick. Our man Mighty B Ryan says everyone like to hate on Joe Burrow, but he's incredible, likable to me, even as a Gator.
What college did he go to? Was it FSU?
No, he went to LSU.
LSU.
He's the one that had the greatest season, and then before that, he was at Ohio State. Bengals O-line dominated that game.
Yep.
100, and here's the crazy part:
kept him clean.
That's all you need to do.
Yep.
But I think like Joe Burrow told everyone, go get the refund. If you're Bills, you might want to go get your refund.
Yeah, there's Evelyn. I was wondering when she was going to show up. Yes. I was wondering when Evelyn was going to show up tonight. She said, I was totally shattered by the loss of my Buffalo Bills. I feel you. I'm not even a Bills fan. And I was upset that how they lost. And it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, man.
Hey, remind us in the 90s when, I'm marching and going to the Super Bowl parade thing. And the Bills lost in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost that same factor. But I think you're 100% right. The Bengals have a chip on their shoulder. They want to beat Kansas City. They want to go to the Super Bowl because no matter what anything that Joe Burrow does, apparently he is what's considered not the favorite. In the AFC, unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes just has soon to be 2 league MVPs, a Super Bowl MVP, and a Super Bowl. Yeah. And been to 2 Super Bowls. So which means now that Joe Burrow has been to 2, he's going to go to the second Super Bowl. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to Super Bowl, all right? And he's going to win the Super Bowl, okay? You can bank it. You can put it on. I'm letting everyone know right now.
We're calling it now. All right.
At least you got to see the Cowboys. Man, so I'm telling you right now, Joe Burrow's going to the Super Bowl. He's winning the Super Bowl, and he's getting the league, and he's getting the NFL Super Bowl MVP.
Yep. Evelyn says, however, the best man won. Congratulations to Joe Burrow. Yeah.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, see you later, Salty. Have a great one, man.
So, that's how that went. Let's roll into your favorite part, the NFC, and we're going to go with those guys.
Yeah, man. And this is another prediction I had wrong. I went 2-4 this week. 2-4. I thought for sure.
It's like we broke even.
Yeah. Yeah, the Giants, I thought for sure the Giants were going to play upset. I thought they were going to march into Philly. We talked about some of the issues that Philly could be facing. We talked about some history between the 2 squads, and we talked about it being very tough to beat them 3 times in a row and things like that. And I really thought the Giants coming off the big win against the Vikings, maybe establishing some momentum, not having a week off, you're playing and you got the momentum. I thought for sure they were going to be able to go into Philly and punch him in the mouth and win and control the clock with Barkley on the ground. But that did not happen, not whatsoever. Philly came out and they torched them early and they never recovered. They were reeling from that point forward. After that first quarter, it was like 14-0. And that was it. Not a threat the rest of the game.
That's all she wrote. I think you're 100% right. Man, the Eagles showed everyone in the NFC why they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Why Jalen Hurts should have probably been the MVP if he didn't get injured. And the team looked like he didn't miss a click. I think the additional week off and them giving Jalen a little bit more time off, I think that really helped his shoulder. Don't sound so happy about my Bills. Sorry, Evelyn. but I think I think Philly's on a mission too as well. Especially with Jalen Hurts not being considered a top quarterback, or I really hate the word superstar quarterback because it's really hard to define what's called a superstar quarterback and what makes them a superstar quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot of complimentary football, and I think Jalen Hurts not getting paid anything right now, I think is really helping the team, and I think a lot of other teams are starting to follow that same model too. Of hey, let's find a good cheap quarterback, but not really cheap, but like affordable, but can play very well and can stay within the system of what makes them great, and build around them.
Yeah. No, you're right. Philly came out and they had something to prove, kind of like the Bengals did. They had something to prove. They had, there was a lot of talk. Is Jalen Hurts going to be able to play? It's, is he going to be able to play at the high level that he was prior to the injury, et cetera, et cetera. And they came out and answered all those questions. And like you said, they quickly established why they were the number one seed this year in the NFC and why they should be a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, definitely hats off to the Eagles for busting up my bracket with that. But it's going to we're going to see how big that spotlight is going to be, how big that stage is when we come into the NFC Championship game this Sunday and see how that plays out. So
I agree. And we're going to these guys here.
Yes, the game I called correctly, one of the two, 49ers and Dallas. This game was a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be, but I think I did say it was going to be a close game.
No, we did.
I think I said it would come down to the last possession.
Yes,
we did. And it did. It did come down to the last possession. So the 49ers did what they needed to do. They needed to establish dominance with their defense, which they did. 2 interceptions on Dak, I think, really hurt his confidence in that, and really brought down team morale. And then the injury to their running back, Pollock, was devastating for them as well, because that took away some options, took away some of the explosiveness they were going to have with that ground game, and the defense for Dallas was stout. Dallas' defense was very stout. They did do a lot of bending, but they finally broke. You can only hold so much until your offense is able to help you out. And Dallas's offense was almost non-existent in the second half. Again, we talked about that whole game planning at halftime, and the 49ers came out and they were on a mission, and they had that like 94-yard drive that ate up like the entire fourth quarter and pretty much sealed it. That game would have actually, Dallas would have probably not gotten the ball back if the receiver stays in bounds instead of going out of bounds and running more clock off at the end down there toward there. Brock Purdy did an excellent job. Again, playing with house money. He's not even supposed to be there, and dude's playing like an absolute stud right now. His confidence is high. The stage is not too big for him anymore, and that's been proven now in 2 playoff games in a row now that we've seen him play in. He is the real deal right now for San Francisco. I see them going with him in the future. He will probably be the starting quarterback come next year, based on how he is playing. And they're going to go into Philly next week, and that is going to be a heck of a game. And we'll talk a little bit more of that when we get to that section. But what's your analysis on that game? Oh, and the kicker did miss an extra point, by the way. It was blocked, but it was still a miss on the stat sheet.
Yep, Matt Maher.
I thought he was going to play.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was skeptical as we were looking at it, and as I was seeing the media go back and forth with it, and he did play. So I think it was a thing. Greg, we'll definitely talk about that towards the end, because I got some comments on that.
I'll star it and hide it so we can come back to it.
All right, perfect. So on this game here, I watched majority of the game. Dak, I'm not sold on Dak, man. They paid Dak way too much money.
Oh, by the way, Skip, how'd that prediction work out for you?
Somebody tag Skip.
Anyway, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So Dallas, man, I think if Pollard didn't get injured, I think it would be in a different game. Because as you saw, once Pollard got injured, and it had to be Zeke, their running game just fell apart.
Yeah.
Running game fell apart. He's a big part of that offense of that two-way offense of being that being able to catch the pass out of the backfield there and kind of run it up. I think it really changed the game planning, and Dak wasn't ready for that. And when you have Pollard and you've got Zeke, and Zeke's your short guy that's able to get you 2 or 3 yards. Now, fun fact, Zeke has already came out and said that he's wanting to restructure his contract down the team, so which means he's probably not going to be on the team come next year. He's already saying that. Yep, you're definitely 100% right. Dak does need him for those checkdowns. But I think the possession that 98-yard play that you talked about, that Purdy just drove it down.
94 yards.
94, excuse me.
Yeah.
And George Kittle fumbled that ball and got it and showed ultimate concentration on that. I think is a testament to his team. And just some of the throws that Purdy made, I was like getting him in there. And I'm like, man, like he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, I mean, look at Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has had nothing but success with quarterbacks. If you look at, Atlanta when he was with Matt Ryan, MVP. He even he was just on recently talking about on Barstool Sports. He was talking about Johnny Manziel when he was at the Browns as their as their quarterback coach, and they were trying to have him do all these type of things. He said, no, he needs to be doing these things because this is what he's good at, and they didn't want to listen to him. Well, obviously, you probably should listen to Kyle Shanahan because he knows what he's doing.
And I don't want to draw any comparisons. It's early. It's real early, but I don't want to draw any comparisons. But you look at what happened with Tom Brady, his first year in New England. Thank you. Yes, I was just getting there. Look at when he came in for Drew Bledsoe in New England. What happened that year? They got to the Super Bowl and won it with him. And we're seeing kind of the same thing. The quarterbacks go down. In San
Francisco and Garoppolo.
And Purdy's not even on the scouting report for anybody. Nobody's scouting Purdy. Who's this dude?
I was on camera talking about it. I was like, yo, who is this guy?
This dude has not lost since he started in the NFL now. He has not lost. And I keep looking at the comparisons, and I don't know if anybody else out there is making those comparisons, but and like I said, it's still early. But man, history sometimes repeats, but history definitely rhymes. We see Brady, fading into the sunset. Is there another Brady brewing in San Fran? I'm just saying.
Purdy almost fell into the perfect scenario, just kind of like how Tom Brady did.
Yeah.
If you really think about that,
a great defense. Patriots had a great defense.
Yep.
They had solid receivers.
Yep.
They had a solid coaching. And bam, it was a perfect recipe for Tom Brady in New England at that time.
So if you look at they could start Purdy, and we're gonna just start out there. Purdy, let's say Purdy starts for the next 4 years. They don't have to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means they can pay other players around him and still keep him relevant.
Exactly. Yeah. Greg says we get a lot of Big 12 games out here west here, like Purdy at Iowa State. Saw quite a few games of his. And then might be wrong. Was talking about Tampa Bay fan as well as aware of rumors. I'm saying it's either retire. Talking about Tom Brady. Yeah, we'll definitely come back to that comment.
Yes,
and we'll tackle the Tom Brady news stuff.
Yes, we definitely will.
Yeah, but yeah, what did you think of the game overall for Dallas and? I
thought I think it was probably one of the better games out of all of them. I think because it was close. Yep. Every possession mattered.
Yeah.
And it was two quarterback. I think it ride it more on Dak because Dak got beat by a rookie.
Yeah. And so, not only that, it rode more on Dak only because he had the last possession in the game too.
Yes. And then watching Zeke get pancaked.
What was that? What was that play formation they had at the end? I was like, and he threw it, he checked it down to the guy on the side, and what's his name? Just blew him up.
Yes.
The guy got blown up.
But he just, I don't think Zeke realized how much work. I don't think Zeke realized how much work it goes into being a center and having to hike the ball and put your hands up to it at the same time. Like, dude,
that linebacker looked at him like, boo.
He got rocked. and it was cool.
You remember the old Madden game from like 2008, the truck stick that they introduced, the hit stick? Yeah.
Yes.
Zeke got hit sticked.
He got hit stick. Zeke got destroyed. It was like that old back in the 90s, remember Get Jacked or Jacked Up? And they used to show all the hits, all the big hits from the past week. Yeah, it's like that exactly. He got pummeled. So yeah, I think that was the best game out of all of them. Just to fact, it was close. I mean, the Jacksonville game was entertaining for me, obviously, because I'm a fan. But I think if you look at everything, I think this was probably the better game out of them all.
Yep, and we have our next thing, which is the Jive Turkey F. Who earned the Jive Turkey F this week? Out of this weekend. JT put a poll out there, and we're going to recognize that poll. But we had our own internal talk, and we have decided who the F goes to this week. And it's no other than the Buffalo Bills. I am so sorry, Evelyn. The Bills earned a Jive Turkey F this week. You don't allow a team to come into your house and blow you out the way the Bengals did at home. The discussion, we went back and forth between the Giants and the Bills, Giants and the Bills, but the Bills get the F this week. Bills Mafia, I might have to draw up a separate F just for you guys.
Just for you. You know what? Hey, we should mail the Bills organization the Jive Turkey F.
we picked you guys this week.
We picked you guys. You know what? We should try that. But I did put a poll out there, you guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and recognize it real quick. So the Jive Turkey crew, that everybody that came on, everybody gave Dallas the F on the Jive Turkey F. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know that. Yep, Dallas. Hey, Jive Turkey, you guys have spoken. You guys said, hey, it was Dallas. Me and Let's Be Frank said that we both agreed, and it came to an agreement that it was going to be
the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. But I definitely liked all the participation on it. I'm going to put another poll out there this upcoming weekend, on it. So the Jive Turkey F. If you guys like the Jive Turkey F, okay, we're going to throw it out there real quick. If you guys like the Jive Turkey F, leave us some comments in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and let us know, because I think we're going to trademark this eventually. I think this might be an actual trademark thing.
We could probably put it on a t-shirt.
We could. Jive Turkey F. Let us know if you guys like that. Jive Turkey F.
I don't like that saying, but
it's something. We got to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But
we'll figure it out.
So moving to next week, this weekend.
AFC, right?
Well, I'm going to put up the.
Go ahead. Run with it.
Our bracket here.
Yep.
Coming into this Sunday, we have the Niners and Eagles and Bengals and Chiefs. So home games are Kansas City and Philly, the both number 1 seeds. The number 1 seed versus I think they're like the number 4 seeds, aren't they?
I'll tell you right now, 2 seconds. I should have had this ready.
No, it's okay. You didn't know I was going to ask you that.
Give me an information for 2 seconds.
Yeah. So the Greg says, I will roll with the Jive Turkey F. I like that. Ivan Adams came in and said, go Bengals. And the Greg also mentioned, he said, this is something I mentioned last week, by the way. He said, San Francisco versus Cincinnati Super Bowl rematch of that awful 1990 Steve Young Super Bowl. Might be wrong, said, my son played center from the age of 6 into college, LOL. He loves seeing a skilled guy get blown up. Evelyn Bell says, you guys are so mean, but I have to say I was very disappointed that we lost in our own backyard. I was disappointed for you guys as well. I really was. I really was high on the Bills going into last week, but based off of all the factors, they had to go away with the F this week. So no hard feelings. I'm sure my team will eventually end up getting the F as well.
So Philly's number 1, San Francisco's number 2, so 1 and 2 seed, and then KC is 1, and the Bengals are 3. Okay. But it's like we talked about. Now remember, they lost the game. They got a game stolen from them. The Bengals did.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really think about it, this could have went either way. This could have been at Bengals.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start there. Let's go ahead and start with the Bengals and Chiefs.
Alrighty, Bengals and Chiefs, you guys. Let us know who everyone got for this one here. Hit down in the comments. So I'm gonna go with this one just because there's so much controversy with this game right here. If you think about it, Joe Burrow beating our boy Patrick Mahomes 3 times. He went to Super Bowl last year. Patrick Mahomes is more likely going to be the MVP for this season with the 5,000 yards. And then also, just overall, Joe Burrow doesn't seem like he's respected, or the Bengals are even respected, being the AFC champs that they currently are right now. I think the Bengals are playing lights out. I think Joe Burrow is playing amazingly. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm gonna punch it. I'm gonna punch their ticket to the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna go on record right now. The Bengals, Joe Burrow wins his first Super Bowl this year. This year he wins his first Super Bowl, and they put that to rest that the Bengals are the top dogs in the AFC right now, and probably for the future if they keep it right. If he takes a team-friendly deal, because there's already speculation of him getting an extension. So, Joe Burrow, if you're listening, don't take the bag. Take part of the bag, not all the bag, and keep those players that you know you love so much with you. Frank, what do you think?
So what's your spread on it? What did you say they were going to win by?
Well, might be wrong. Says by 10 points. Man, I think it's going to be 7.
7. Okay, 7. All right, I got you down here for the Bengals. I'm actually going to go the opposite of you.
All right.
On this one. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. One, again, it's in Kansas City. Kansas City fans are going to show out. It's a hard stadium to win in. I know the Bengals have already done it, so Joe Burrow is going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, ready to play. He isn't going to be fazed by the Kansas City fans or the mystique of Patrick Mahomes, right? Because he's a stud in his own right as well. So when you got 2 studs squaring up, they don't sit there and admire each other like, no, they're thinking I'm going to beat you, and that's what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. He knows that he's been beaten by this Bengals team the last 3 times, and even in his own home. And this is a time to play for a Super Bowl. He remembers last year not being able to play in it. He was a Super Bowl champion he went back-to-back Super Bowls, and this is an opportunity for him to solidify, I'm going to say this, his legacy. He's going to need to win this game, because if not, it's going to be Joe Burrow coming in and punching you in your own house and saying, this is my home now, because I'm going to the Super Bowl again, and you're not. I don't think the Chiefs are going to let that slide. Andy Reid is going to have this game planned very well, and Patrick Mahomes is going to come back after he had that win against Jacksonville, that close win against Jacksonville. I see him coming out. It's going to be a close game. They win by 3 last possession.
Okay. Now you definitely made a very interesting point with his legacy. Now, we all know that the mainstream media, as we all know, crowned him the next Tom Brady, essentially.
Yeah, they did.
The AFC is his. And I think they failed to realize the talent around the whole AFC as it's progressed even the past 3 to 4 years now. Everyone's 100% right. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he did take that nasty ankle injury due to my Jaguars. Mm-hmm. So, I think you're right on this. I think if he loses, I get it, man. 5,000 yards, regular season. Everyone talks about Peyton Manning on how he was a great quarterback and how he crushed every record. I mean, but he only has 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Him and Tom Brady got the better of him.
Yeah,
in those matchups.
Yep.
And not saying that Joe Burrows is a Tom Brady. However, you are seeing the same type. Sometimes there's just those teams you can't get over. If Patrick Mahomes cannot get over the Bengals in this matchup and return back to the Super Bowl, it's going to cause some mental issues for him, mental problems as far as being able to his confidence, and the Chiefs are going to be set back. I know they lost the Cheetah last year or at the start of this offseason going to Miami.
So now they lost that quick.
Yeah, and so he has to get this. He has to win this game because if not, his legacy for him is in danger of not seeing the Super Bowl again. This could be his last chance because that's how stacked the AFC is.
So what? And then here's the other part. And you're 100% right. So what you're saying is that he could potentially not go back to another Super Bowl in the next 5 years?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially. I'm not saying that he won't see the playoffs, but the Super Bowl probably will have to go through Cincinnati.
And that's the funnier part. Or not really funnier part, but I'll say, like, if they don't cancel that Bills and Bengals game, it could have been in Cincinnati.
And the way that Bengals game was going, I think the Bengals would have won that game.
Yeah, they were already like they were moving.
Yeah.
So with that being canceled, do you think that adds a little bit more like, hey, this should really be my home game and not your home game type of deal? Do you think that adds that little bit of like,
yeah, and I talked about this in the last segment where we talked about the Bengals and the chip on their shoulder they have. Everybody's against them, and they don't view them as the AFC champions. They don't. The league does not see them as the AFC champions. They see Patrick Mahomes as the AFC champion.
You want to know why?
Go ahead.
Small market team.
Yeah.
They're a small market team. They're not respected. They don't have that mystique. Like, think about it. Kansas City. How much history is in Kansas City?
Quite a bit.
The great Joe Montana would finish his career there, but obviously came back to San Francisco to retire. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many great teams have you seen them put together? And these small market teams are just not respected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm still going with the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is playing for his legacy. And so is Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid has that Super Bowl ring now and stuff like that, but I think he wants that another Super Bowl ring. He wants to get back to the big dance. I don't know how much more time Andy Reid has coaching under left in him. So there is a ticking clock there in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
not Cincinnati, Kansas City. Excuse me.
Yep. No, you're right. I mean, I love Andy Reid.
So all right, so let's go to the next matchup. Woo! I'm gonna let you start this one off because I'm a homer on this one, and I'm going to have to look past that here in a bit. But go ahead and break this game down for us.
Hey, at least you admit it, all right? At least you admit and you're real with yourself, okay? I'm a homer all day, all right? All day, 24/7. Man, San Francisco and the Eagles. All right, we've got Brock Purdy against Jalen Hurts. Two not number one picks, just, two regular guys that were overlooked and are just, happy to be there, I guess. I don't know. Brock Purdy's not even supposed to be in the playoffs, like Frank said. He's not. He's happy to be here. It's like, hey, I'm here. What are we doing? So, and this game could go either way, but here's the cool part is they both have really stout defenses. They have really good defenses. So it's going to come down to defensive play. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts have an amazing connection. They might go for their three TDs and run with it, but I think it's going to come down on defense. It's going to come down to defense, and then they're both in their NFC Championship game, so it's going to be like, who is the lights too big for?
Mm-hmm.
But the only advantage is that Kyle Shanahan has been there 4 times.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come down to coaching, but I think man, it's hard to, man, you get.
Yeah, I know. That's why I made you go first.
My mind says San Francisco, but my heart says the Eagles. If San Francisco goes, I'm all right. I'm gonna say it. San Francisco's going.
Okay.
That's it. To me, Brock Purdy and that defense.
It's going to be close
He's that supporting cast he has. Like it's hard to be like, oh yeah, it's not going to be a blowout though.
No, but
I think if San Francisco wins, then I think it's going to be a really hard Super Bowl. But somebody said it better to me. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and then I'll hand it back over to you. And he was saying that these two matchups are probably the highest rated matchups compared to possibly the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I agree with your friend on that because these are two massive teams. And these are top tier teams that are playing. This isn't like teams that squeaked in to get into the playoffs, right?
No.
The 49ers they won all the games they needed to become the second seed, and they were almost on the verge of getting the first seed. as well. So, I mean, they both have great running games. Let me go ahead and start off with this. 49ers in Philly. Going to Philly is a tough place to play. The 49ers have won in Philly before. The 49ers right now are playing with house money, like I mentioned before with Brock Purdy. Nobody expected this kid to be able to come in here and roll off 8 straight wins, and especially two straight in the playoffs right now, heading into his third one. NFC Championship game, a big stage. We talked about Brock Purdy's composure in tight games. We talked about how is he going to play when he gets roughed up by Dallas? We saw how he played. He stayed in there. His composure stayed, finding the targets. He's developed chemistry with Akui, I think his name is Akoyau. He's one of the receivers. He's also developed chemistry, of course, with George Kittle, which is easy to create chemistry with Josh Kittle. When you got somebody like Travis Kelce or Josh Kittle, George Kittle, they're easy. They're safe blankets for your quarterback. They're going to make your quarterback look like a superstar when it's thrown in their direction. The defense, the running game, McCaffrey. He had a little bit of a soreness in his calf muscle. From what I've read, it looks like he's past that. So he's going to be a contributing factor coming out of the backfield, and of course, just a straight up running game. And then Kyle Shanahan's run zone that he runs with the 49ers, that West Coast type of offense, and it's very quarterback friendly. I see the 49ers winning this game in Philly. I know Philly fans out there are going to probably hate me because of this, but I see them winning because the momentum is on their side. 8 straight wins. Dude has a chip on his shoulder. He has proven himself in game after game coming in to Philly. The defense has shown that the team has rallied around Purdy. They view him as the leader of this team now. So going into this game in Philly, the 49ers are going to win. And I think I might go with might be wrong on this. They win by 7.
Okay. I'm gonna pose one more question to you before we get ready to move on. Or I got 2 questions for you. I know you're a huge San Francisco fan. And I posed this question to my buddy. If Purdy makes it to the Super Bowl and he wins the Super Bowl, does he come back as a starter for San Francisco? 1, but then who's his backup? Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Good question. If he wins the Super Bowl, and he will definitely be the starter next year, barring any injury, he will be the starter. And I think they will keep Trey Lance and trade Jimmy Garoppolo for a low draft pick.
Why? Okay, why would you do that? Why would you not keep Jimmy Garoppolo than Trey Lance?
You need a good backup quarterback.
But why would you not keep Jimmy?
Jimmy has some injury issues.
But Jimmy's, you're right.
He's been nursing that shoulder injury for 2 years now.
I'm not high on Trey Lance.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I don't see it.
But Jimmy Garoppolo, I just think he's too fragile.
Okay.
If he has to step into a situation and for whatever reason, say, for example, Purdy goes down week 2 and he's going to be out for 6 weeks. I don't think Jimmy's going to be able to, go down the stretch with potentially. We saw what happened when he had to step in to fill in for Trey Lance.
Hey, Brock Purdy, you're up, dude. Grab your helmet.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what I think. See you later. Might be wrong. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes. Thank you. So, are we ready?
So those are our predictions. Our predictions is the 49ers Bengals Super Bowl for JT. Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl for me. Either one of those is a rematch for the San Francisco 49ers. So whoever comes out of the AFC, if the 49ers are in the Super Bowl, it's a rematch with one of those teams. It's
really?
A rematch. Yeah, the 49ers played the Chiefs back in 2020.
And then the Bengals?
The Bengals, they played them back in 1989 or 1988.
Oh, that was the catch game.
No, that was not the catch game. I
That
don't
wasn't the
believe
catch game?
it was a drive game. It was a drive.
Oh, the 94-yard drive.
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
they talked about it on draft day, where
Yep.
I talked about it, and
Yep.
yes.
So there you go.
Wow.
So, and if Philly goes against the Chiefs, that's no rematch and no rematch to the Bengals. So there will be a rematch if Philly wins and they have to play either the Bengals or Chiefs. There is no history there in the Super Bowl for those clubs playing each other. So it would be a fresh Super Bowl, if you will.
Alrighty. So there we have it. Those are our predictions. Those are our recap, our rematches on what we have going on so far. If you haven't hit that subscribe button by now, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. But as we get ready to transition, we're going to transition to what we're trying to figure out what we're trying to name our last few minutes. But I'm going to go with bold predictions right now. This is going to just cover all types of sports. As we finish up in the NFL in the next couple of weeks, you guys, we will be transitioning into basketball and a couple other things as well as myself and Let's Be Frank we'll be talking about. But I know there's a couple of things that the guys want to talk about. So let's entertain the chat, Frank.
Yeah, let's entertain this. The rumor mill of Tom Brady leaving the Buccaneers or not leaving the Buccaneers, going and play in Miami or Nevada. So, what do you think? What's your gut telling you on this? What's Brady going to do? You talked about how Brady is now can solely focus on football now. You know, the drama of the divorce, the drama of the off-field stuff, and everything's kind of behind him now. The season's over. He has that off season to kind of zone back in, and if he's going to do this for another couple of years, he can look at that and figure out where he wants to spend those next 2 years. Does he want to spend it with the Buccaneers, where it looks like it might be a rebuild, or is he going to look for a place where he can win now?
I mean, at 45, you got to win now. I mean, one, you're beaten Father Time in a sense, but if you look at just the landscape of how things are, do you really want to stay, or do you really want to go to the AFC? Like, look how you just talked about. Look how stacked the AFC is right now. It's not like how it was 10 years ago when you knew that
it was just Manning. It was Manning and you.
That was it. And you knew, and your division was trash, so you knew you were going to make it to at least the playoffs and win your division. And if you were the number one seed, you were going to make it straight through, and everything had to go through Gillette Stadium. So if you go to Miami, the advantage is his wife's in Miami, his kids are in Miami, and he doesn't have to take that 45-minute hop from Tampa to Miami to go see his kids. That's the beneficial thing for him. The Raiders, I don't know, if Tom Brady's a family guy like he says he is, I think maybe he wants to probably be closer to his kids.
Yeah.
So him going all the way to West Coast, then that'd be rough, because only West Coast team I could see him going for is San Francisco, and Colin Shanahan and his dad has already told him twice, no, you're not coming to San Francisco. I think it's the only way he goes to the West Coast. I think the Raiders, Josh McDaniels, this is his second quarterback he's ran out of town. And Derek Carr, is going to be leaving. I don't know where he's going, but Tom Brady, I think he goes to Miami. What do you think?
Yeah, Miami sounds like, after you put it that way with perspective, I know where his family lived. I didn't realize they just lived in Miami. So with them being in Miami, that would be the optimal situation, especially as the Greg says, he thinks Tua will retire. Might be wrong. I know he isn't here anymore. He says, as a Tampa Bay fan, I'm well aware of the rumors. I'm just saying he's either retiring, returning to the Bucs, or he's going to the Raiders is what he thinks. So He doesn't even believe he's going to go ahead and go to Miami. So that leaves the question then, how much percentage do you put retirement on Tom Brady? Is it greater than 50 or less than 50?
Less than 50?
Less than 50. I go with less than 50. I think he returns at least for one more season, and Miami played a good game in the first playoff round. They almost took out the Bills.
They did.
He has the cheetah down there. Can he get the ball to the cheetah though? That's the question.
And Waddle. I mean, he can get the ball to Waddle. We know that. Yeah. But can you get it to the cheetah?
Yeah. So there's some weapons.
He was able to get it to Randy Moss, but that was also like 15 years ago.
Yeah. So, I see Miami as a solid possibility. So yeah, I'll go. He's not going to retire. but he's not going to stay with the Bucks. I think he ends up with Miami. That was a rumor last offseason of him possibly going to Miami.
And the only reason why he didn't go to Miami is because of the tampering that happened between Miami, him, and Sean Payton. So what was supposed to happen, I know a lot of people were tracking, but so what was supposed to happen is he was going to leave Tampa, go to Miami. Sean Payton was going to go to Miami, and then he was going to get part ownership to Miami. But they tampered with him is what happened. Obviously talks with them, so they fined him. And so, you think about it, you said, hey, I retired, but now we can have this lawsuit against you because, you were part of this whole ordeal. And so he had to come back and play. So I think he has to come back and play another year.
Yeah. So, So I think he goes to Miami. I think he'll be there. He'll play at least one more year. Okay. Here's a bold prediction from the Greg. He said 49ers 23, Eagles 19, and Bengals 33, Chiefs 29. So that's his bold predictions for this week here.
Alrighty.
What else we have in the chat? So other bold predictions. Would you have anything else that we were thinking about bold predictions? I have one story we'll talk about in just a minute, so we can end the stream. Go
ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
We might be thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
I was talking about the Frank Wright hire?
Yes. Okay. We were thinking about the same thing.
Same thing. Look at that. All right. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's a good move. I think it's a good hire. And I think there's going to be a chip on Frank Reich's shoulder to prove to the Indianapolis Colts that they should have never fired him, and that they're going to regret it now. So, okay. That's what I think.
I kind of concur with you, too. I feel like he's kind of just been like, oh, man.
Yeah, how did that Jeff Saturday thing work out for them?
Not well at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Worst mistake ever. What about a Houston job? Who do you think is going to take that?
JT. JT's going to take that Houston job. He's going to go apply for it.
Man, I could. It'd be great. Maybe they might hire me. Maybe
league minimum. That's all I'm asking.
Hey, that's all I need is league minimum. You don't even. I just need league minimum. That's it.
Yeah,
hey,
league minimum.
Hey, Houston.
And a company card. That's all I need.
I need a company car.
Gas card.
Yep. League minimum.
And a grocery credit card so I can get groceries.
Yep, that's it. That's all I need. Those are my two things.
That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, ain't that bad. All right. So, and Arizona, who they hire as a head coach?
Oh my gosh. They're still in the interviewing process.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my gosh.
And so is Denver.
Yeah, I again, not real big with names anymore, so I don't even know who the pull would be from besides some of the ones we had mentioned before. So I don't know. What do you think on that one? I'm not going to venture out on that.
I think they're so they went in and hired their GM already, which was the assistant. He was like the one person below the GM from the Titans. They brought him over from the Titans as their GM now. I don't know who they're gonna hire. Carolina's still in the interview process. Like, man, there's still a lot of things going on with all these coaches, unfortunately. And the thing is I just hate because national media likes to bring race into it, which I hate. If you're right for the job, you're right for the job. Yeah. Yes, they invented the Rooney Rule for a reason. Yes, we know it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. They know it doesn't work. And the people of color of skin like you and I, we understand it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So, it's a league of who you know, and who you know is what gets you the job. What you know is what keeps you there.
That's it.
So, unfortunately, that's just how it shakes. I mean, I hope the people that are qualified gets the job that they want, and they get to go to where they want to go. That's just my take on that.
So we got this. Go ahead.
No, so I was going to just say, you guys. So as you guys know, I've been covering sports now for a while now with my co-host here. So as NFL wraps up in the next 4 weeks or so, we'll be moving over to the NBA. So we're going to show you this NBA clip, and I'm going to let he's already got it going. The Bucks. I'm going to throw my Miami Heat gear on. So.
It's actually the Bucks are my rec team basketball that I
coach. That's even better. Look at that. So I'm gonna let my co-host here lead us into this next scenario.
Yeah, so we had a story that came up, and just I wanted to react to it a little bit and kind of talk about it. We got 5-6 minutes, so we'll go ahead and look at the story first, and then we'll go ahead and kind of talk about the whole thing. The headline says LeBron James tried to attack a fan who mocked his receding hairline, which I think is hilarious, by the way, because if you ever look at LeBron's thing, his headband continues to go up and up and up and up over the years. So. This took place over there in wherever he was playing. So let's take a listen. Here we go.
From TMZ.
Brian, hey Brian, you better get this together. That receding airline.
So the guy calls him out. He says he better get this stuff together. Obviously, they were losing. He better get this stuff together. And LeBron looks like he wants to come over to the guy after he tells him about his receding hairline. And you can see him being physically held back here a little bit by pushing, the security kind of pushing LeBron to keep moving forward and not to interact. But what's your take? Skip and Shannon had a whole segment on this a couple days ago or last week, or maybe it was last year, about fans and their rights there to ridicule the players and the players' right to have them tossed from games. What do you think?
Man, this has been something I've talked about before, not extensively, but I will sit there and say, as a fan, I've sat courtside before with Miami and Chicago when they played, and one, it was a privilege, but two, I don't think it's right that players should be able to lie, or, you're a professional athlete. You get paid millions of dollars, and yes, I get it. You're supposed to be respected just like everyone else is supposed to be respected, and I totally understand that. But also, too, the flip side of the coin is people are going to say mean things. People are going to be mean, but, that's what your tunnel vision's there for.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep playing. You could have just kept walking. I'm pretty sure there are many times the late Kobe Bryant was told certain things by certain fans, or like our GOAT, his Ernest, got told many different things, and Hakeem Olajuwon and Shaquille O'Neal.
Especially when you're playing in opponents' arenas.
Yes.
And the thing is with this, and I get it. I don't want to be called names. I don't want to be called nasty things, right? Because to a human extent, it does. It can sting a little bit. But again, you're a billionaire, right? A billionaire. Why are you allowing this guy to have any rent in your head whatsoever? Why are you letting him live there rent free, right?
Rent free.
I asked my son, he plays high school basketball. I asked my son, I said, can you hear me when I yell at you? He said, Dad, I can't hear anything but what the coach says and what my teammates are saying. Everything else I block out. I can't even hear it. I can't hear the fans. I can't hear anything else. I'm focused on what I'm on the floor, what the coach is saying, or what my teammates are saying. And that is it. And that's coming from a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
You're telling me LeBron can't be dialed in and just ignore comments that are making fun of your hairline? You can't ignore those. You can't just walk past it and not even acknowledge the guy even exists, because they would have spoke more about him walking right by without even acknowledging or even entertaining. It would just kept on going. Hey, LeBron, your hairline. You'd be like, just keep on going.
I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. And Draymond Green just did it just recently too, but he actually fabricated the line. They said he threatened his life, and the gentleman said that he didn't. And the Bucks gave him a refund. The Bucks organization, your organization that you like, is a class act organization. So I think the players need to get the narrative correctly, and I feel like it's only certain players that are doing this. LeBron James, Draymond Green.
Draymond Green wants to be like LeBron. He stated he wants to go play with LeBron so he could tell his grandkids he played with LeBron James. Stop. I mean, dude, you play with Stephen Curry, and the other guy, Klay Thompson, you guys have multiple championships.
They have as many as LeBron does.
And you're slobbering over LeBron? Dude, get off his thing, man. Dude, you are more of a GOAT than he is because you have gone to the finals less times and have the same amount of rings.
With the same team. With one team.
So, yeah, I think it's just I know people will say, oh, they're soft or whatever. There is an extent to that. I mean, but at the same time, man, you just have to, as an adult, you just kind of, if I'm let's say I'm in an establishment, right, and someone's like trying to disrespect me. Why am I going to entertain that person who's trying to disrespect me in public? Why am I going to give him two things that come to my mind? One, this guy might have a weapon. I might die. So why am I going to engage in something I can easily just walk away from and remove myself from the situation? Just like LeBron here, could he easily have just walked past, and guess what? It's not even a story, right? It's not even a story. We're not even talking about it. The media's not talking. Nobody's talking about it. All you have to do is walk by. It's just that mentality of I'm privileged and I'm going to let every little thing hurt my fifis.
And I agree with you on that. Like, you're 100% right. As we're older now, and me back in my heyday, I would have done the same exact thing LeBron did. Trust me. But as I'm older now, I'm like, oh, wait, no. Like you said, this individual might have a gun. Maybe this guy's on his last nerve and he's willing to snap and he just wants to kill someone.
Yeah.
That's just how that stuff works nowadays, unfortunately. Okay. But to be a billionaire or to be a professional athlete, you have more of a target on your back because everybody wants to get a payday from you. It's like Eminem said in his Marshall Mathers LP album, I'll buy you a wardrobe to let you, to leave me alone. I just want to eat in peace with my daughter, but you want an autograph. Those are the things he used to rap about in the early 2000s, and he was 100% right. Mm-hmm. So if we think about it, that aspect there, think about if he literally did physically just shoved the player or that fan and he broke his arm or sprained his ankle or something. Now you're writing a check, bro.
Yeah. Or worse, you hurt yourself in the process. And
yeah.
You hurt your team.
Yes.
Oh, man. I tell you what. I'm going to have fun covering the NBA this year. So.
Oh, so am I. So am I. There's so much going on. But as we get ready to cover it after the All-Star break, which will be a lot funner. But with there's been a lot of teams I shouldn't say teams, but there's been a lot of instances over this past season where people have been getting kicked out of games, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm gonna just bring something else real quick. Prices for tickets, dude. I mean, and we're gonna leave off with this real quick. NFL tickets, like for the average fan, like it's expensive.
Yeah.
How do us normal people afford tickets like those? Like, let's say, Jacksonville did go to the AFC Championship. How much am I paying to go to that game?
A lot.
Yeah. And it's
like your normal fans have been priced out of being able to attend live events.
That's what we're at, isn't it?
And then what you end up having, and this may speak to this a little bit more. What you end up having is more entitled fans who spend a lot of money to go to these games instead of fans that are able to buy these tickets and are grateful to be at the game.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I've sat courtside, and I was grateful to sit courtside. I'll never be able to afford to sit courtside again, ever.
Dude, if I drop $6,000 on a pair of tickets, you better be knowing that I am looking to be privileged. If I'm dropping $6,000 on some tickets, I am privileged, and I want to be treated like I'm privileged.
I know. When I sat courtside at the Miami Heat game, I know the guy, the person that brings you over, and he sat, me and my son down, and he said that these tickets right here for an NBA Finals ticket was like $100,000, and I'm like, excuse me, how much?
Yeah, you're like, this seat's not even comfortable, man.
Yeah, and then the cool part was you were able to just order stuff and they just bring it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, so that's my take on it. Let's be frank. We're a little over an hour here, but hey, I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting us, and hanging out with us tonight, and definitely going over our recaps and everything like that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Frank, where can they find you? And tell us about that new channel that you're on.
Yeah, check me out over on my new channel called Let's Be Frank Culture, where I talk about entertainment, talk about TV, movies, video games, and whatever else is in that sphere. So check me out over there. Again, you go over there. I've taken a couple weeks off. I've been busy doing some other stuff. I'm swamped. I run 3 different channels, so it's a lot. So I'm working on trying to be better at my time management for that. But go check it out. Go hit my subscribe button over there, and new content is on its way. I promise.
Yep. Same thing with me as well as you guys. As you guys know, I've probably been off social media this past week. I've got a couple things going on, but I should be back up on the social media this coming weekend. So look for those videos. Hit that subscribe button. If you got a friend, family member, coworker that wants to talk about sports, hey, have them chime in and let us know. And then we'll be dropping some other polls over the weekend, and let us know how everything goes. But we appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us. As always, I'm JT, your guys' host here, my co-host. Let's Be Frank. And we're signing off.
Have a great
Thanks,
one,
guys.
everyone.